Hello and welcome back to another the United Devils watch-along, and today we are going to be looking at Manchester United's second home game post-lockdown, and they host relegation candidates Bournemouth. Of course, United did play the away fixture at Dean Court earlier this year and lost 1-0 to a Josh King moment of brilliance. He, of course, starts today, having scored 3 goals of the last 8 against Manchester United for the Cherries, and was, of course, linked with a move to Manchester United in January before Ighalo was brought in on loan. Today, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer announces a unchanged lineup from the side that smashed Brighton apart. David De Gea starts in goal. He made his 110th clean sheet in 308 Premier League games for Manchester United against Brighton, and starts today looking for his 11th clean sheet and 3rd in a row in the league so far. Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back has only missed 3 games this season in his debut season, and has kept 9 clean sheets of United's 10 in the Premier League. Same can be said for Victor Lindelof, who starts today as well. His long run of remaining not dribbled past was broken against Brighton, but will still be looking to continue his good form alongside captain Harry Maguire, who has yet to miss a minute of Premier League football for Manchester United. Got the crucial away goal, winning goal at Norwich in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Luke Shaw starts again. He's been very solid since coming back. Since the Burnley game, he's only missed 20 minutes of football. In the 22 appearances he has played in the season, United have only conceded 12. Nemanja Matic's start has been crucial for United since coming back into the starting team. Paul Pogba back alongside Bruno Fernandes as the attacking midfielders. His 11th appearance this season for the Frenchman. Still waiting for his first goal though. Bruno Fernandes has been nominated as the Premier League Player of the Month after scoring 2 against Brighton and 1 against Tottenham. Mason Greenwood scored the opener against Brighton, has 13 goals in his debut season and a goal every 106 minutes so far. Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are the 2 danger men for United, really, both of whom have scored 19 goals this season, both looking to reach 20 goals for the first time in their career. On the bench for United, it's a strong bench with the 9 players available. Romero, Bailly and Williams are the defensive players. McTominay, Fred, Pereira and Mata are the midfielders. No Lingard again. Daniel James is back for the second game in a row after missing out on the FA Cup quarter-final, and only Ighalo is the sole striker on the bench. As for Bournemouth, Aaron Ramsdale continues his decent form in a sorry Brighton team. His debut season, he's made 100 saves so far. Only Bernd Leno has more. Adam Smith comes in, a stalwart for Bournemouth since their promotion. Lloyd Kelly makes his 3rd appearance for Bournemouth in a back 4 alongside Nathan Ake, who's their record transfer. Diego Rico also comes in at left back, who will be looking to venture forward at every opportunity. Jefferson Lerma starts again, and Lewis Cook replaces Billing in midfield, one of Brighton's most promising players, alongside the recovering David Brooks, who's come back after injury and will be looking to get his first goal of the season. As well will Junior Stanislas, who did score against United in the 2-1 win against them in 2015. Josh King, of course, starts, and it will be Bournemouth's best attacking outlet, as well as target man Dominic Solanke, who is yet to score in the Premier League for Bournemouth. On the bench for the Cherries, Artur Boruc is the goalkeeper. Stacey is the only centre-back. Gosling, Sermon, Danjuma, and Wilson and Billing are the midfielders. Surridge is the only striker, and there are 2 goalkeepers as well, with Travers also making a bench appearance, and if he were to come on, it would be his only his 2nd appearance for Bournemouth in the Premier League. Manchester United, of course, are on an unbeaten run of 15 games, in which they have only conceded 4 goals. The last goal, 5 goals. The last goal, of course, coming against Norwich, but only against Tottenham in the Premier League, and having scored 38 in that time. Bournemouth, however, are on a 4-game losing streak, and 2 wins in the last 10 games for them, having conceded 21 goals in that time and only actually having 2 shots on target in their last 3 matches. Teams are out on the centre circle, and Bournemouth get us away and immediately hit it forward down United's right and their left, and they've controlled it very nicely with Stanislas. And now it's looks like Solanke, but it's recovered well and then lost again. Stanislas on the ball, but a poor touch from Solanke, and it will be out for a goal kick. But Bournemouth starting very positively, knowing that a bad defeat or any kind of defeat will send them into a lot of trouble down the table. United take it short. Lindelof to De Gea, who smartly gets it to Matic, and then Maguire. Looked like he could have been in danger, but Pogba now. Good strength, and was fouled by Josh King. As I said, Bournemouth do start the day at 19th, below Aston Villa, not on goal difference, they are on the same goal difference, but on goals scored. They've only scored 30 this season. And United will be looking to try and score one of their own, with Rashford driving into the box, but it's defended well by Lerma, who gets past Shaw as well, and can play a nice pass to Lewis Cook, who sweeps it wide, but Maguire can tidy up and play back to Lindelof. Of course, Bournemouth are only 6 points from 20th in Norwich, but 1 point away from safety, so a massive win for them at Old Trafford, where they've never won before, would be something that they would be praying for before the game started. And now Maguire's been fouled in the Bournemouth half by Lewis Cook, and United will try and get it away quickly with Luke Shaw. Back to Fernandes, who's been influential against Brighton. It's Wan-Bissaka down the right, but he tried to put in a first-time cross on the volley, and it went into the crowd, as you would expect. Of course, I mentioned that Bruno Fernandes and Anthony Martial were nominated for Player of the Month for June. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was also nominated for Manager of the Month for June as well, after 2 wins and a draw, as well as an FA Cup quarter-final victory. But now Rashford on the ball, trying to play it to Greenwood on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. Now Pogba manages to get a smart pass out to Luke Shaw. Might have been slightly overhit, but he was under pressure. Now Luke Shaw trying to venture past Adam Smith, but can't quite do so as he's teamed up with by David Brooks, who looking to restart his season very well. But now a cross in towards Rashford was headed out easily. But United win the ball with Fernandes, and now Pogba can't quite get the touch, and now Bournemouth can counter with Stanislas, and now Josh King down the left-hand side for Bournemouth finds a nice pass to Lerma, and it will be Lloyd Kelly starting, but now a long ball into the box is left by the United defenders and gone out for a goal kick. But as I was saying, Diego Rico and Lloyd Kelly have both played as fullbacks this season, but it will be Lloyd Kelly starting on the Bournemouth right side centre-back, and Nathan Ake on the left as a natural left footer. Of course, will be familiar with United through his time at Watford and Chelsea. Of course, he didn't rack up enough appearances to be a title winner in the 2016-17 season under Antonio Conte. Only had 2 appearances despite promises of more, and was then sold to Bournemouth for 20 million. But now Bournemouth try and hook it wide. Maguire with a strong header, and now Matic on the ball, looking to drive the team forward, finds Pogba. Back to Matic. And then Greenwood, the pass was sloppy from Matic, but United pressing hard, looking for that early opener, as they have done in their last 2 games. It's now smacked clear by Aaron Ramsdale, England under-21 goalkeeper. Nice flick from Wan-Bissaka to Pogba. Shaw looking a bit deeper now after an attacking start. It's looks like Bournemouth have set up defensively and are going to look to counter United with the pace they do have up front. Solanke does have a yard of pace. Stanislas and David Brooks are very smart technical players. but United have them in abundance too, and it's now Martial looking to get past a few, trying to flick it towards Bruno Fernandes, but couldn't do so. But Pogba's won that ball, but the touch was poor, and Bournemouth can now counter, and they've got bodies forward. Can Lindelof deal with it? Yes, he can, and Bournemouth can regroup with a throw-in, and United can get back into formation. Bournemouth should be quite happy with the way they've started the game, but we'll remember how Brighton started the United match well and was ultimately outclassed in that game. So we'll have to see if United can withstand this early pressure and push for that opener they've had. But some nice flicks between Rico and Stanislas have slightly befuddled Wan-Bissaka, but Lindelof covered well. You will be expecting United to get the result. Obviously, Bournemouth haven't been very prolific in front of goal, but they do tend to play a lot better against the big teams, especially against Manchester United. Obviously, have got a draw at Old Trafford, but never won. But it's a long throw into the box, which is cleared out quite easily, but the ball is recycled back to Kelly. And then Stanislas on the edge of the box tries to feed in Solanke, but Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof cover well. Now Matic is getting harassed all over the place, and Solanke's won the ball, but Matic has recovered from his poor mistake earlier, and Pogba now. It's looking like Bournemouth are going to fight a little bit more than Brighton, but Pogba's found a nice pass to Shaw, who can drive it into the other half. He's being tackled by Josh King all the way, and advantage. Now Rashford in the box, now to Fernandes. Can Fernandes put in a cross? It's caught quite easily by Ramsdale. But United looking bright as it on the counter from those Bournemouth attacks. And Matic, who may have given the ball away, did very well to recover and start another counter-attack. And we know how devastating they are. But United will want to be a bit more clinical, get the early goal, and then they can sit off a little bit more and then counter. But it's now Matic who tries to find Martial, who was fouled. And it looks like Pogba was also fouled in the build-up. And it was Kelly that, I believe, committed both of those. Apologies, it's not Pogba, it's Rashford that's down. Yeah, Ake comes in with a header, bounces off Rashford. They play advantage, but then Kelly fouls Martial. Will be a free kick about 45 yards out. I think United will play it short, but there is every single Manchester United player in the Bournemouth half, and that's exactly what Bournemouth want, because the pace they have on the break can be devastating. However, they haven't been able to register more than one shot on target in their last 3 games. And that's a poor pass from Matic, who's found Stanislas, and now Bournemouth can do exactly what I've said. They're going to try and counter. It's now Rico with a nice pass to Stanislas, and he's looking for his first goal, his first assist. Lindelof gets a block away and can clear it to Wan-Bissaka, who has got Stanislas pressing him, and he gives away a corner. Or maybe not, as the referee has actually given a goal kick, but it looked like Wan-Bissaka got a touch on it. Stanislas breaks, Wan-Bissaka can't quite track back. He puts in a diving challenge, and Lindelof flicks it in the air. It looked like he got given it away for a corner after Wan-Bissaka's pressure, but it is fine. And now De Gea kicks it straight to Martial, who wins the ball and finds Pogba. Now Fernandes on the counter can find Greenwood down the right channel, and he's going to look to try and score for the second game running, but he instead feeds it to Fernandes, who dummies the cross, plays it to Wan-Bissaka, who's central, back to Greenwood, on the edge again. Now Matic to Fernandes, might look to put in a cross, but instead finds Greenwood. Sideways to Pogba, but a nice pass, trying to find Greenwood, but it was overhit, and Ramsdale can catch the next ball into his box. Mike Dean, the referee today, the last time he refereed Manchester United was in fact the Derby Day win at Old Trafford. However, he has also refereed 2 defeats for Manchester United, the 3-1 in the Carabao Cup against Manchester City, and the 2-0 loss to Burnley at home, which was the last game before United began this 15-game unbeaten run. It will be Maguire looking to try and get a little bit less pressure on the United defence, and finding Rashford, who whips in a pass to try and find Martial, and he's through. And it's Fernandes, in fact, I apologise, who chips it over Aaron Ramsdale, but over the goal as well. And that was a good chance because it was a lovely pass from Rashford, who whips it in. Bruno Fernandes is onside, and it bounces over the defender, and he just looks to dink it, but he's put too much on it, and it's going to be a goal kick to Bournemouth. It would have been interesting to see if Martial had actually made the run with Fernandes, because maybe he would have had another option other than to dink the keeper. But he's done really well nonetheless. I think Rashford so far, people have been complaining. I was complaining that he didn't look sharp enough against Brighton, but has started this game well. But so have Bournemouth, really, although Stanislas has just given that away. Wan-Bissaka now able to play it to Lindelof. Maguire potentially looking for a long pass, but he's not being pressured as much as the likes of Lindelof or Matic. It's now Maguire to Matic on the left-hand side, almost like an auxiliary centre-back. Now Pogba, but only found a backwards pass to Harry Maguire. It's now Lindelof to Pogba. Can't quite find Rashford, but Lindelof can recover after keeping his position, which is far more advanced than the likes of Matic and Maguire. But Pogba tries to find Shaw in the box, but it's defended well by Ake. And Bournemouth have possession now with Kelly. But United are pressing and have pressed Rico into giving away a cheap throw-in. Looking to keep it just for a little bit. They have 61% possession, Manchester United, so far, but no penetration yet. But Lindelof now tries to find Fernandes and does. He's on the edge of the box now. He puts in a cross to try and find Rashford. It's defended acrobatically by Adam Smith. But United now again. They come again with Fernandes to Pogba, who leaves it smartly to Matic. Now Shaw, looking for a pass forward, can only find Matic backwards. Now Pogba looks very sharp on the ball. Lindelof finds Rashford, very central, looks to Greenwood, but it's defended well. Bournemouth with the numbers, but it's recycled and Matic wins it now. And it's now to Martial, who's on the left-hand side, back to Matic, only finds Shaw, who is much deeper than this time round. Matic then sweeps it to Bruno Fernandes, who's come very central and much deeper than normal, puts in a cross to Martial, and again it's collected easily by Aaron Ramsdale. United not looking very inspired in that final third. Not much quality there. That Rashford ball was the only bit of quality we can say from the opening 13 minutes. But you will be expecting United to get the opener, and soon. It's now Maguire with a looping header, but Ake playing a bit of head tennis with him. But Pogba won it now and gets it to Lindelof. Maguire slows things down in the sense that he allows United to actually get width. So in a positive way, he slows the play down and allows for options. But Maguire can only find Matic, but then he's got it back and played it to Shaw. Rashford now, Matic, Pogba leaves it again. It's Lindelof on the ball, venturing forward into the edge of the box, tries to reverse pass and is in it on goal. But Ramsdale's done well as sweeper keeper and pushed it away from the Swede, who's looking to score his second goal of the season, but it'd be less of a centre-back's finish and more of a striker's. But on the counter, Josh King tries to get it forward, but it's defended well by Victor Lindelof, who came back after his venture forward. But it was almost a chance. I mean, you'd expect Ramsdale to be... you'd expect Lindelof to be second best in that one, but he almost came off with a goal or a shot on target, perhaps. But Bournemouth now on the counter with Adam Smith trying to drive, finding David Brooks, and now Lewis Cook. Back to Smith down the left-hand side for Manchester United. Puts in a ball into the box towards Solanke, and Maguire does well to put him away. Stanislas in, and it's defended well by Maguire. But again, Stanislas is through and he scores. And that is a shock lead for Bournemouth, who have only scored one goal in their last 2 games. And it's a rare shot on target, and it looks like Bournemouth are ahead. There will be a check for offside, but there was a mess at the back. We'll see what's happened here. It's a ball in by Adam Smith. It's cleared by Lindelof, then Wan-Bissaka, then Maguire, and it's deflected, and Stanislas does really well, or you could say Maguire does poorly, as he gets nutmegged very easily, and then it goes in through the near post because De Gea's not in the right position, it would seem. And that looks to be an opener for Bournemouth. And Stanislas, who scored straight from a corner the first time Bournemouth played against Manchester United, score in their 10th appearance against the Red Devils, and an opener at Old Trafford. United will know that they need to wake up, because that was really poor defending, and they can't afford to be complacent in a game which means so much for the race for top 4. It's Luke Shaw now on the ball to Matic. Bournemouth defending very deep, and they'll try and defend even more now they've got the lead. Maguire on the ball, looking for the long pass, but not shifting the ball quick enough, as I said, but perhaps in a negative way this time. Now Luke Shaw. Is he going to put in the ball? He's stopped and lost ground, and now Matic down the left-hand side. And now it's Fernandes. Now Shaw puts in a poor pass, and it's deflected well by Jefferson Lerma out for a throw-in on United's left. It's now Matic. United need to wake up, get into the box and actually get some chances. Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, good strength against Lerma. Gets past him, can't get past King, and it's a free kick to United in a dangerous area. It's Wan-Bissaka in, and Pogba, good strength against Lerma, is fouled by a combination of King and the Colombian, but this could be a dangerous moment for United. Although, if history repeats itself, United have not scored from a direct set piece in the Premier League this season. Their last set piece goal was, of course, Rashford's stunner at Stamford Bridge in the Carabao Cup, but it will be Rashford who hits it, and it's saved very well by Ramsdale. It was on his side, but he made one step the other way, and he recovered well and pushes it out, and it'll be a United corner, which have to be much better from the last few games, which haven't really yielded any results. But looks like it will be Bruno Fernandes to take. United have got big players in the box, and it's whipped in towards Lindelof, and it's blazed over. Good, decent chance, half decent chance in the sense. Lindelof was he was being pushed about, but was kind of behind him, the cross, his head, and it goes out for a goal kick. But the shot before was fairly central. You would back Ramsdale to make the save, but United need to get some more shots on target because Bournemouth do concede a lot of goals. 54 this season. So now Maguire to De Gea, who was also at fault for that goal, you have to say. It was his near post, but it was very close to him. Don't know whether I'm being harsh or not, but I am more blaming Harry Maguire for getting done that easily by Stanislas. But it's now Rashford on the ball to Matic. Now Pogba, but the pass is overhit. He still has it. Now to Wan-Bissaka. Pogba again. then Matic and Lindelof to Maguire, all the United players in the Bournemouth half yet again. Matic sweeps it wide to Wan-Bissaka, who's not been able to put in a decent cross yet. He's now got through, puts in a ball, but it's deflected out for a corner. Stanislas tracking back very well after scoring a crucial goal for Bournemouth, it might seem. Will be Bruno Fernandes to take it. United obviously got the big men there. They've got Fernandes would put the cross in, and it goes in towards Martial, it would seem. And now Shaw has a hit, but has a hit even, and it deflects well by Bournemouth. But Pogba now can recycle it. He puts in a cross towards Rashford, who loops a header, and he tries to find Greenwood. Was he fouled? But it doesn't look like it, because Ramsdale looked like he got the ball first and he pushes it out for a corner. But it will be United piling on pressure now. Rashford, great pass from Pogba, looping header that was probably difficult for Greenwood to get onto. But Ramsdale flaps for it and gets the ball first, and it will be another United corner. Oh, well that's a shock, actually. The United players look dejected. It looks like it's going to be a goal kick. Must have pushed it into Greenwood. But the kick goes straight to Maguire, who heads upwards. Matic then fouls Solanke, and it will be a Bournemouth free kick where they can put the balls into the box. Yeah, Matic gets there late. Solanke gets a touch on the ball, and Matic slightly scrapes his shin, and it is a foul, but it could be a dangerous one for Bournemouth, who United were almost undone from a similar set piece against Brighton, where Trossard was through and just about missed the goal. But it will be Stanislas and Rico on the ball. The player that's where Trossard was Solanke, but flicked by Stanislas and then clipped in by Rico, but it's cleared by United. But Matic's pass is poor to Greenwood, and they can put another ball in, but it's headed out by Wan-Bissaka only as far as Stanislas, who hits another one, but it's high and wide, and United have a goal kick. Was a pretty poor opportunity, because he could have probably threaded someone in, but unfortunately for Bournemouth, he could not find the target, and it will be a drinks break, and Solskjaer does not look happy with how things have gone. He's going to give his team a talking to, and hopefully can galvanise a positive end to the first half. You'd have to say, looking back at that goal, it's scrappy by Matic and Lindelof, who have both done so well since the unbeaten run, you'd have to say. But Wan-Bissaka as well was a little bit loose, and Maguire, of course, got really easily outskilled by Stanislas, who hadn't scored or assisted in the 10 appearances he's played from this season, and then fired past De Gea. We have been critical of De Gea's form this season. Can you blame him for this? We'll have a look now. It gets cleared by Maguire, who comes out for Stanislas. He does it, and his positioning is very poor. He comes further out. If he stays on his line, keeps the near post tight to him, he probably should. It probably won't go as a goal, but it is whipped past him with a lot of pace. I can't tell whether that is ultimately his fault or whether it's more towards Maguire, and then what happens. But it's a short goal kick. Now Wan-Bissaka to Mason Greenwood, who is fouled all the way, and by Rico, who's looked well, but we'll have to see whether he can come up with some brilliance like he did against Brighton. But United need an equaliser soon if they are to break the Bournemouth spirit, which has been building all game. But it's now Luke Shaw on the ball. And now Rashford. And then Matic. Lindelof now, who had a half chance earlier in the game. Greenwood. Well, Wan-Bissaka now to Bruno. Down the right-hand side, he waits for Wan-Bissaka and has Wan-Bissaka there, who flicks it back to Fernandes. Now Greenwood. Pogba leaves it. Matic has it now to Rashford central on the edge of the box. Sweeps it to Wan-Bissaka again. A lot of United attack coming down the right-hand side. But it's Fernandes who whips in a ball. It's towards Greenwood. He can't get there. Matic can, though, who is being pressed by Solanke all the way. Back to Maguire. He's looking for a pass, but Shaw now. Rashford to Fernandes. Trying to find Matic, who wasn't quite on the same wavelength this time round. But Solanke tries to get away with the ball, but Fernandes wins it back. Now finds Greenwood. Back to Rashford. This could be dangerous. It's Pogba on the ball on the edge of the box. Wan-Bissaka. Is he going to put a cross? It's a good cross, but it's defended well, and Greenwood couldn't get a touch on it. But now Bournemouth are on the counter with King versus Lindelof, who tries to get past him. He's down the left-hand side of Bournemouth, and now he's found Solanke, but Maguire has done well that time and can come away with the ball. And United could counter if he finds a pass, but the Bournemouth numbers are still behind the ball. And now Rashford tries to find Greenwood and does. Now Martial, but the pass is overhit and Bournemouth can come back and have their throw-in. It was Lloyd Kelly who dealt with that cross from Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka looking for his 5th assist of the season. It was a decent ball, but through the legs of a defender. And Greenwood, if he made a slightly more curved run, he might have got there, but have to give credit where credit's due. It was a good defending from Lloyd Kelly. But Bournemouth throwing now. Loop towards Solanke, it would seem. And he's got past Maguire, but can only play backwards and has now found Rico down the Bournemouth left. And Wan-Bissaka's going to have to travel back because Stanislas is through, or almost through. Lindelof does well defensively to stop him from bursting down the left-hand side, and he tries to put in a ball, but Lindelof does well again. It's now Greenwood on the ball, looking to counter, finding Rashford, who sweeps it to Fernandes. He can't quite make it, though, and the pass was really poor. Bournemouth now have a throw, and can relieve some of the half pressure that was building from that counter. But if United are just a bit more clinical, a bit sharper on the pass, they can get through this defence because they are showing gaps and weaknesses, and they just have to find that right pass. Might need a moment of brilliance, but we'll have to see. Wan-Bissaka wins the header, but Rico clears. There's no foul given, and Matic can sweep it towards Rashford on the right-hand side, who puts in a reverse pass to Fernandes on the edge of the box, finds Greenwood down the left. He shoots and he scores! Mason Greenwood with a brilliant finish and equalises for Manchester United. He scored United's first goal against Brighton. He scores against Bournemouth too. His 14th goal of the season and a crucial one for United to get back into this game. 1-1. Brilliant play, and you have to say, United do deserve it after that. Apologies for our graphic has actually got one of those things wrong. They've said that it is James and Williams that are starting, but it is in fact Greenwood who has levelled the scoring, and he beats it. Ramsdale gets a big hand on it, but he can't stop it because of the shot power, and Greenwood equalises for United. And now Pogba on the ball, won it back straight from the kickoff, and plays it into Lindelof, and United will try and build some confidence, build some momentum. Greenwood back to Lindelof, who dribbles and finds Wan-Bissaka. Greenwood again, looking to get on the ball with every opportunity, is fouled. They're playing advantage. It's Maguire now. Fernandes sweeps it to Wan-Bissaka, tries to put in a good cross, but It's blocked early by Rico. That is a crucial goal for Manchester United. And now it's Fernandes who dribbles past a couple on the right-hand side. He puts in a ball towards Rashford. It just misses him. But Shaw on the edge of the box. Greenwood slips. And Bournemouth can counter with King. Wan-Bissaka pushing him all the way. He does well to recover the ball. But it's a bit of a mess. And Bournemouth can try and lump it forward. And he finds Stanislas, who is on his own. Lindelof's come towards him. But he'll know he's going to be dangerous. And he has a shot, but it's scuffed and deflected and all sorts. And Fernandes tries to find Martial and does, and the Frenchman is fouled by Lerma, and that's his second dirty foul, and it will be a yellow card. It's very cynical. It looks quite high, and that is Lerma's 10th yellow card of the season and his 22nd in 2 years at Bournemouth. It's very high. Oh, it goes straight on his knee. That could be VAR worthy of a red card because it is high. Will they look at that though? They're looking at Martial at the moment, who is still down. He is having Mike Dean is getting a word in his ear. They are looking at it. If Lerma does get sent off, that would be massive because he has been crucial to Bournemouth winning the possession in the midfield. But perhaps not. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks astounded as to how that's not a red card. He's shaking his head right now. But it could be messy because you could target Lerma, who is culpable to giving away fouls, as we have seen already. But will be interesting to see what happens there, because Pogba on the ball and Bruno on the ball can cause a lot of problems. You might have to take a cynical red card. But it is Matic now, the unsung hero of the United's midfield so far. Fernandes, definitely not unsung. Pogba, Rashford on the ball, has a shot. It's deflected! And it could have gone anywhere, but it goes out for a corner. It looked dangerous. United building confidence. Pogba with a nice pass to Rashford. Takes one shot, it hits Ake, and it spins very wildly out for a corner. But United on the front foot. And it's Fernandes now. Whips it in. Looks for Maguire, but he can't quite get there. Shaw on the edge of the box. We've seen it already once. He puts in a delicate pass towards Martial. And there's Pogba there. There's a handball, it looks like. And then Maguire has a shot, which is blocked. And it's a penalty. He looked at it. It took a long time to come to the decision. But Mike Dean has given a penalty. Looked very clear. So very clear. Martial with a good header towards Pogba. It's flicked away. And then it hits Adam Smith's arm very obviously away from his body. Then Pogba with strength and Maguire shot is blocked. But it's very clearly hitting Adam Smith's arm. And that's going to be a crucial penalty for Manchester United. Although, was Martial offside in the build-up? Lee Mason, VAR today, looking about whether Martial was offside, whether it was enough for a handball. But as of now, it looks so, and it's going to be not Bruno Fernandes this time, but Marcus Rashford, who's really looking to get his 20th goal of the season and his first goal since January before his injury. And they've looked at it. VAR's very happy to say that both players are onside. Nathan Ake playing them on. And I don't think a yellow card has been issued to Adam Smith because it definitely wasn't deliberate. But Marcus Rashford could make this a crucial lead. But we have seen Ibrahimovic miss a penalty at home to Bournemouth. But it will be Rashford now, who scores very comfortably. And United are ahead after an early shock. And that is a crucial goal for Rashford, who needed that. And 20 goals for the season for Rashford. He'll be delighted. 35 minutes in, and Manchester United do take the lead eventually after some miscommunications and probably poor choices at the back. But it has been deserved. United just sprung to life, and Greenwood galvanising United's recovery, and Rashford bringing the lead. But it is fair to say that this hasn't been easy. United we do want another goal before the second half, because 2-1 is very delicately poised. But Lindelof is now under pressure from Solanke, but finds De Gea, who clips it to Maguire. But that is very dangerous. And Maguire has just given it straight away to a Bournemouth player, but it is offside. The referee has flagged, but Bournemouth have put it in the back of the net. It's a poor pass from De Gea, who looks to chip it to Maguire, and it is loose. But then the pass from Maguire is loose. He is just offside, Solanke. But Bournemouth have put it in the box, I think, with David Brooks. But it looks still to be offside, and United get away with a bit of poor distribution from the goal. But we'll have to see. Mike Dean still holding his hand up for offside, and he is. But that seemed a bit like that Aguero call in the derby, where the referee flags for offside, and it was narrow. United don't react, but can they react now with Pogba looking for a long pass towards Greenwood or Martial, but it only finds Aaron Ramsdale. This has been far from an easy afternoon at Old Trafford, certainly. De Gea on the ball again. Hopefully he can do a bit better this time, and, well, he has. It's Maguire, who has looked a bit slow today, but did make a vital defensive clearance after the unfortunate goal. But Matic now on the ball to Pogba, back to Matic. Shaw to Matic again. United, all the players in the Bournemouth half, as I've said countless times. Lindelof to Fernandes, looking to shift it to Maguire. Then Matic, a bit further forward, drills a pass to try and find Wan-Bissaka, but only finds Stanislas, who tracked the fullback very well. And then Ramsdale hits it long, trying to find, I think, Josh King, but Lindelof does well that time. But the long ball through could have found Solanke again, but Maguire was aerially dominant, as we've said so many times this season. Martial now threads a pass to Wan-Bissaka. It's a bit overhit, and it looked like Wan-Bissaka was fouled, but Bournemouth can counter at the moment. A long pass from Lerma trying to find Josh King, but it goes out of play for a throw-in. I can't quite remember who got the assist for Greenwood's opener, but we'll have to see. It is now Maguire on the ball after smart distribution this time. And then we find Matic on the ball, looking to drive through to the Bournemouth half, but gets it to Lindelof, who is venturing through there now. Then Greenwood, who's come very deep, and then Matic again. Could find Rashford, who was making a run, but Pogba instead was the target. Fernandes now, but tries to play it to Shaw, who couldn't find the pass, and now Ake can drive through and find King, and this could be dangerous, but United have got bodies back. It is Rico on the ball, who whips in a pass, but Wan-Bissaka defends well, and Pogba now comfortably clears. Then Fernandes could have Greenwood through, does, but couldn't get to the ball because of a sliding challenge from Rico, and I think it will be a Bournemouth throw. Six minutes left of the first half, and United will be happy with how they've bounced back after an awful start, you have to say, and let's just hope that they can keep up this momentum. But Bournemouth on the ball now, looking to equalise. It is Rico towards Solanke, but A strong challenge from Lindelof sends that out for a throw. You sometimes see those given as a foul, because he did come in through the back, but he did get the ball. So, fortunate for him, but it will be another long throw from Lloyd Kelly, who's done that once already. Nathan Ake, I guess, does them on the left. He does them on the right. Or, apologies, on the left, and Ake does it on the right, in fact. But long ball in, looking to get it towards Solanke, but Greenwood can clear, and now it's Martial who was fouled, and United will get a free kick on the edge of their own box, and probably look to play it short, and Pogba does with Maguire, and Shaw now, will he look to venture forward late on? He puts in a long pass towards Martial, who's almost looked like he got through Lloyd Kelly, but good defending from Diego Rico and Aaron Ramsdale, and now Bournemouth can play a long through ball towards Josh King, who's down the United right. He's looking to get through Lindelof. He's not got many options. He tries to put in a cross, and Lindelof defends well, and it will be a corner, despite his bemused reaction. Josh King, of course, was likely to join Manchester United in January. Of course, his contract does expire at at the end of the season, and if Bournemouth do get relegated, he will be looking for Premier League football because he's a good player. Of course, has links with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Does know him well. Apparently, I think they have the same agent, Norwegian internationals, both of them. Lots of bodies around De Gea. The corner comes in, but it's headed well by Rashford. But only as far as Diego Rico, and now it's Adam Smith on the ball, very centrally. Can't find a pass, he's looking for an option, but now finds, I think, Stanislas, who has done well so far this half, but now United are pressuring Smith, and he plays it back to his goalkeeper, Ramsdale. Of course, Ramsdale and Greenwood do know each other very well. They both play in the under-21s for England. Both will probably be looking for a call-up at some point in the next few years. Obviously, with both attackers in abundance for England, but goalkeepers are the position that's most coveted. Obviously, Pickford has it at the moment, but his form has been shaky. Pope's been injured, and Henderson is showing promise. But Aaron Ramsdale is one of the more promising goalkeepers in the Premier League. So now a long through ball from Rico, but headed out well by Wan-Bissaka, and Rico has it again though, and now he can find Stanislas, but Maguire does well this time and wins that battle. No nonsense from him. Pogba now gets past David Brooks nicely, and has Fernandes. Now it's Rashford centrally. Miscommunication between him and Wan-Bissaka, but wins the ball nicely through a nice sliding tackle, but again the pass was poor and Wan-Bissaka couldn't get to it. But Martial looking to press Adam Smith, but he hits a long ball towards Josh King, who wins the header against Maguire, it would seem, but Lindelof recovers very well. It's now Matic looking for any pass forward, but it can only find Lindelof sideways. It looks like United are going to be happy to let this stick in for the first half and go again in the second. But for the moment, Rashford is now on the ball. Martial now, and then Fernandes, always looking for a forward pass, but sweeps it wide to Wan-Bissaka. Then Matic down the right. Rashford now on the right-hand side. It's Maguire. And then Lindelof. And now back to Maguire, who's looking to venture. Can't find Pogba. It was a poor pass. You should trust his touch. It was very, very weak. And Matic now on the ball. Deepest player for United other than obviously De Gea. Looking for Maguire, who has ventured forward yet again. Shaw was looking for a run, but Maguire wasn't looking to find him. Matic. Bournemouth pressing hard. Shaw now found, but much deeper position. Martial back to Shaw. Looked to find Greenwood, but defended well. And now Martial, and United's siege of Bournemouth continues. It's now Fernandes to Matic. Then Fernandes can't quite do so. They can't shift it quickly enough. And that's a loose pass, but Lindelof again recovers. He's been doing well when Maguire's made mistakes, and Maguire's been doing well when he's made mistakes, but they are still making mistakes. It's a long pass to Shaw, who's in on the box. And oh, he hits the post. But he is offside, it would seem. Referee has flagged for offside. Great pass from Fernandes, who was basically playing like the quarterback. We've seen Wayne Rooney play for Derby County, and Shaw does look offside. Who gets in, the touch is heavy, and the defensive clearance from Adam Smith hits the post. But United have 2.5 minutes to get another 2-goal lead in the first half. It's now Shaw back to De Gea, who is being pressed by Josh King, but gets it to Lindelof quite quickly. And back to Matic. Lindelof happy to play out from the back, and now Pogba can drive United forward. Finds Fernandes. Pogba's making a run forward as well. Fernandes finds Rashford, trying to get past Adam Smith, and can, but finds Fernandes instead of across into the box. Matic. He's got options in front of him, but can only find Fernandes behind. Shaw leaves it for Martial, who dribbles on the left-hand side, puts in a shot, and he scores brilliantly. Oh, Martial, that is fantastic. That is a brilliant, brilliant effort we haven't seen from him this season. Of course, 20 goals for him as well, but a long-range effort curves into the top corner. We haven't seen these for a while because obviously he's been playing as a striker and been asked to score all the tap-ins, but we know he's fully capable of scoring those class finishes from outside the box on the left-hand side, as we've seen under Mourinho, and that is beautiful. Not much defending going on, but nonetheless, Martial whips it. Aaron Ramsdale completely beaten, and it hits the crossbar as it goes in. Fantastic. And United in a commanding 3-1 lead, and honestly, at this point, it could be anything. And United do recycle it. There are still 40 seconds to play, and Greenwood now with the ball, finding Martial on the edge of the box. That's obviously been a change that Solskjaer's wanted to see, and now it's Martial dancing through, but Bournemouth eventually get it away with Ake. Lindelof, good control, shifts it quickly to Matic. United sensing blood, and they're looking for a fourth. It's now Luke Shaw, gets past one, can find Martial, who's gone back to a more central role. Now Rashford on the edge of the box, tries to thread it into Luke Shaw, but it's collected by Ramsdale, and that should be the first half. And that is it. And after an early shock from Junior Stanislas, who got past Maguire and De Gea effortlessly, United have dominated. And the front three all score, and they're all crucial goals. Greenwood's 14th. Rashford and Martial get their 20th in all competitions for the season. And Fernandes and Pogba pulling at the strings, and Matic being the one to soak up possession and do the dirty work. But United are 3-1 up, and they'll be looking for blood. We will be back just before the second half begins, but in the meantime, if you have any questions you would like for me to discuss at that point, please just comment on the comments section, and I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. And we are back underway just before the second half will begin. For those of you just joining us right now, as you might be able to see, Manchester United are 3-1 up, but they didn't make easy work of it. 15 minutes in, Junior Stanislas scored his first goal of the season against Manchester United, and it was really quite poor defending from pretty much all the back four, and the goalkeeper was at fault too. Something we have been saying more and more recently this season, but you'd hope maybe he can redeem himself in the second half, you'd have to say. Eric Bailly has come on for Victor Lindelof, perhaps an injury or something. I'm not quite sure, but the last time Bailly faced Bournemouth, he was sent off. So hopefully history does not repeat itself. But as I was saying, Bournemouth looked lively in the first 15 minutes. United had to keep pushing and pushing. In 15 minutes after that, it's Mason Greenwood's rocket of a finish was unable to be stopped by Aaron Ramsdale, and United equalised. A penalty, which through handball from Adam Smith, meant United could take advantage for the first time in the game, and then Martial with a fantastic goal made a 2-goal difference for United as they go into the second half, which they get away. And it is going to be Maguire still on the right-hand side, Bailly on the left. Bailly on the right even. And it was David Brooks to come off for Danjuma. You have to see whether United do try and do some damage, do some more damage, or will they try and keep to their scoreline and go from there. Of course, United, as it stands, will be a point behind Leicester City, who are playing at the same time, playing Crystal Palace. But United could be causing problems now, and Bailly does well. And Lewis Cook, and it's a great save from De Gea, but he saved it only to someone else, and it's hit the post by Danjuma. But it's a fantastic save from David De Gea. Danjuma hits the post, but really poor start from United, and Bournemouth were electric, and De Gea did very well to stop that. Oh, and Bailly might just have given a penalty away. That could be hugely detrimental for Manchester United, and he's given handball. And United could be in a lot of trouble because that looked deliberate. But it was mess in the box. Bailly tries to clear. And it's Lewis Cook who has a shot saved very well by De Gea. And again, Danjuma hits the post. It's Bailly with a bit of strength, but King... It was straight at him, but it came through a sea of bodies from De Gea. But Mike Dean seems to have given the penalties, waiting for VAR. We're having a look now. Oh, it looks like it hits his shoulder. It's outside the area either way, so it won't be a penalty if it's given. But we'll have to see how that turns out. Looks like it's... Oh? It looks like it hits his shoulder. Looks like it's hitting the top of his shoulder, as the Peter Walton on BT Sport, the former referee. It looks like it's in the box because it is in line with the touch line, but it does look like it hits the top of his shoulder. Looks like the top of his shoulder. Says the rules state that the arm ends at the armpit, but we'll have to see. It looks like it hits his shoulder, but it's a very controversial decision. Obviously, handball, well, all the rules for handballs have been contentious. Obviously, we've seen against Sheffield United versus Spurs, where Spurs were ruled out, and that is a controversial one as well, because he said that it's handball, and that will be heavily debated. And United do have a penalty to defend themselves after getting one, and it's going to be Josh King who scored a penalty at Old Trafford in a 1-1 draw in their second season in Premier League football, and it will be David De Gea who hasn't saved a penalty for a very long time. And it will be King who takes it, and De Gea almost gets there, but he's placed it very, very strongly into De Gea's left-hand side. And that is a very big wake-up call to United, who started the half poorly. But it was a controversial decision. He dives the right way, but he can't get there because it's fired straight into the corner. But it was, well, that's the thing, is that it wasn't clear and obvious whether he could not give it he couldn't, it wasn't a clear and obvious option for the referee to overrule his decision to give a penalty, but it's a contentious one nonetheless. And United will feel seriously aggrieved because A, that shouldn't have been a penalty, and B, maybe Jefferson Lerma should have been sent off earlier. But United have been given a free kick in the Bournemouth half. And Solskjaer again has a sullen look on his face because that is a very poor goal to give away. And it's the first time in this unbeaten run that United have conceded more than one goal. The last time they did concede more than one goal, they lost to Burnley 2-0 at Old Trafford, and United will want to get another goal now. And Pogba tries to feed in Fernandes, who's in the other half, and Rashford's there, but it's defended well, and Bournemouth can counter. This could be a cracker of a game because Bournemouth are going to start building momentum, and it's a 3-on-3 for them. And now it's Josh King who feeds in Danjuma, and he scores! But the offside flag has gone up. This is getting ridiculous. And he is very clearly offside. And Josh King could have kept the ball up, but he hasn't yet. He does beat De Gea, and the ball was put in the back of the net, but this is getting messy now, and United need to sort themselves out very quickly. Now De Gea hits it long, not willing to take any risks. It's headed out towards Rashford, but Adam Smith gets a touch, and it will be, or he looks to get a touch, but it will be a Bournemouth throw. Danjuma's now playing on the Bournemouth left against Wan-Bissaka, and he'll need a wake-up call too, because his defensive ability has never been this badly exposed in, well, maybe one game, but other than this, but this is really poor from Manchester United so far, and it gets worse for them because Leicester have that goal. They obviously were against an out-of-form team, but were out of form themselves. But Iheanacho has scored early in the first half, and now will take them 3 points clear of Manchester United should this win stand, because it could be less. But as it stands now, United will go above Chelsea by a point. But it's Bailly now on the ball, hopefully looking to get his composure sorted. But he shouldn't feel too much to blame because that is a poor call from Mike Dean and VAR. But it's Matic to Shaw, gets past Stanislas. Now Matic again, no foul given. He drives past, tries to find Martial, but it's cut out well. Pogba now on the ball, being held by King, but seemed to be okay. Pogba then looked to be fouled, but Shaw has it now, and it's fine. It's Fernandes to Rashford. Then back to Fernandes, which was nice play. Then feeds in Rashford again. Fernandes doesn't have many options, but finds a good pass to Matic. He doesn't have another option. Back to Fernandes it goes. Shaw, free, but the cross hits a player. Martial chests it nicely. Looks to get Rashford in. He has Rashford in, but it's defended well by Nathan Ake, and Bournemouth can try and clear, but only as far as Matic, and it could be recycled to Greenwood, who's looking to get past Rico, and he shoots, and he scores! And that is brilliant. He goes on his left first, he goes on his right second, and that is another rocket. And United have their 2-goal lead yet again after a nervy start. But Greenwood stars yet again. A brace for him, and he's now got 15 goals in this season and is on a hat-trick. It's cleared by Lerma. It's flicked badly by Lewis Cook. And then Greenwood just dances past Rico and finishes brilliantly with his so-called weaker foot past Ramsdale. And he gets another touch on it, but it's not enough. It's a great finish into the roof of the net. And Mason Greenwood gets another brace. Defensively poor United have been, but it seemed to be okay at the moment because they are outscoring their opponents, something that we haven't seen for a long time. They are actually now checking an offside. Let's have a look now. Oh, no offside. They were looking on Rashford in the build-up, but it was so tight it was not reasonable to suggest it. And now United are 2 goals up yet again. And Pogba to Wan-Bissaka, and hopefully you'd expect United to build that momentum as they were at the end of the first half. And now Greenwood shifts it to Rashford, who's down the left-hand side and feeds Greenwood again, who's looked electric. And then Ake tries to drive Bournemouth forward, and he finds some space for Lewis Cook, who's then found Solanke, and Stanislas now looks towards Danjuma, but it goes out for a throw, and United can breathe a little bit. But interesting to see why Lindelof was actually substituted in the first place. They didn't get to go in with that, but be very interesting to see how that would work. But so now Matic on the ball. Fernandes. Matic, of course, he's had really good moments this half, and the rest of this game, but he's also had some really bad ones. Have been a bit sloppy with the ball, and this is something we started to see with him last season, and probably why McTominay started this season. But hopefully he'll have to wake himself up, because there is McTominay to come in, and he could push Matic out of the team if Matic keeps making these silly mistakes, because with all the good he's doing, he has caused some problems today, but I don't want to be too reactionary on today's game, because everyone's been poor defensively. But it is now United with the ball, and it is Matic now, who threads in a nice pass to Wan-Bissaka, looking to get his 5th assist for the season, puts in a left-footed ball towards Martial. It's headed out by Kelly. And now it's Matic again, trying to drive down the channel and feeds Martial in. It's a cut back towards Fernandes, but Kelly reads it well, but then passes it to Matic again. And it's Rashford, and now it's Pogba, who hits it straight at Ake, and Bournemouth can clear. But Bailly has it now. Maguire, who gets past a couple players, but has no real options, but has Pogba, who tries to feed, looks like Martial, who tries to get past Kelly, but does well, the young defender. It's Wan-Bissaka, Greenwood. United is still smelling blood. It looked like he was fouled, and it will be a free kick to United just on the line. And it is Kelly who fouls Martial. It's been a good battle between the two. Has been really Martial versus Kelly, but Kelly was pulling at Martial and brings him down. And while we did see United try this kind of free kick against Norwich, it is very close. There are 4 people on it, although I don't think Maguire's going to be one. I think he's just hearing what has to be said, but it looks like it's going to be either Pogba or Bruno. Rashford's sort of waiting in the. He's gone now. It will be either Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba. It looks more like Fernandes. Obviously, neither have scored a set piece yet. Pogba's had a couple of opportunities in his first season that have hit the post. But we'll have to see who tries now. looks like Fernandes will take it, and he scores! Oh, that is brilliant. That is fantastic. And Bruno Fernandes scores United's 5th, and it's 5-2 at Old Trafford. That is brilliant. He missed one because he tried to go under the wall against Norwich, but that one he whips past the wall. Wall didn't even get near it. And why is VAR looking at this now? I cannot see, but he's whipped it, and it is a fantastic goal. But that is the goalkeeper side. We saw Rashford score on the opposite side, on the same side, in fact, or almost score on the same side earlier in the game, but Ramsdale couldn't get anywhere near that. But not quite sure what they are complaining about, actually. Is it offside? It might be offside in the build-up. I'm gonna hold fire with the. Who is offside? I cannot. And they've given the goal. I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but VAR has been a bit of a mess today. Bruno Fernandes does score on the hour mark, and United have a 3-goal lead as they lead 5-2. Fantastic finish. And now Bournemouth are going to question what exactly they're going to do, but they are going to try and play attacking football because obviously United have been a bit weak defensively today. But Maguire's just dealt with that ball quite nicely. But this could fall into United's hands because they could get a bucketful if they try. But now it is Bournemouth looking to get one. Stanislas tries to play in Smith, who is out-muscled by Shaw. But it will be a corner. It could be a scary scoreline either way, because while United have been defensively strong overall this season, they've been a mess today, but Bournemouth have been a mess all season, but they've actually started to score goals. But it will be another corner coming in, and Ake was there, but it's down to Stanislas now, and Lewis Cook back to Ake. Bailly's there, and he clears it athletically. Or acrobatically, in fact, with a jumping clearance, which we have seen him do a few times, but has also almost given away fouls with those. So I have to see how his composure lasts for the rest of the game. It is going to be a long throw, I think, from Kelly yet again, which hasn't caused problems yet, but could have the potential to do so. And Pogba tries to header it out. Rashford gets it away for a little bit, but Smith has it now. Rico, Rashford, Martial and Greenwood all up the field. They try and put in a cross. It's down to Lerma, who tries to shift it to Smith and has found him. Stanislas there. There are 2 players down that channel. It's Lerma again, though, who tries to put in a ball, and it's overhit and completely misplaced. And United can relax yet again. And Bournemouth are going to make another 2 substitutions. It's going to be Harry Wilson and Dan Gosling to come on. And Harry Wilson, of course, is a Liverpool player still, despite being on loan, and could come back to Liverpool after being crowned champions, or could move for 25 million. But he has scored at Old Trafford for Derby. But the changes won't happen just yet. And that was close. De Gea's pass to Maguire was pressed hard, but Shaw has it now, and the kick won't be will be taken again because the changes are going to happen now, and it will be Billing or not. In fact, they are going to retake the goal kick, which I do not understand. But it's a long pass trying to find Wan-Bissaka, and it's gone straight out. And it will be a throw into Bournemouth. Doesn't look like the substitutions are ready yet. It will also be Fred coming on for United. Not quite sure for who, but it could be for an attacker, just to soak up some possession. But it is Matic now. Fernandes flicks it now to Shaw. looks to try and find a forward pass, but is getting every Bournemouth player is behind the ball now. Maguire. They're not defending deep, but they are behind the ball. It's half pressing, not quite sure what to do at this point. But I think the drinks break could push them. But it is Matic now. Then Maguire. Hits it long, trying to find Fernandez, and does. But the cushioned header can only find a Bournemouth player, and now they have numbers forward, and that could get to Danjuma, but it is overhit, but he still has the ball. Wan-Bissaka looking to close the space, and wins it, and Greenwood now has it, and he could counter for United. We've seen this happen so many times, and it is Greenwood now. He tries to find Pogba and does. It's a sharp pass to Martial, back to Pogba. There are players coming back for Bournemouth, but Wan-Bissaka in, and it's Rashford! And it's a goal. But it looks offside. Fantastic football from United. Great counter. Fantastic ball from Wan-Bissaka, but he looks offside, Marcus Rashford. Let's have a look at this. It's tight again. He looks just off. But now then, it's very close. It is very, very close. And it looks like Rashford looks level. He does look level. It's very level. Can't see what's happening, but it is. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. It is about 2 centimetres offside, Marcus Rashford. That is a fantastic ball, and you have to say United did deserve that 6th goal, but not to be, it would seem. And it's chalked off. And now Bournemouth can make the changes. Solanke's off, Stanislas is off, and Cook is off for Billing, Wilson, and Gosling. And that looks like they're going to add another midfielder in. And it will be Fred on for Matic, in fact. That's an interesting change, because Matic has been making some errors, as quite clearly shown. But it looks like it will just be the one up front with King, and maybe Danjuma as well. But because he has been causing trouble for United at points. But we'll have to see. It could be still a front 3, but United looking to counter. And it is going to be Fred on for Matic, who, like I said, has been error-prone, but has also been doing good things too. So we'll have to see whether that is just about match fitness, because he hasn't played a lot of football before that. But we'll have to see. And we're all excited to see whether Fred can actually play as that role with Pogba. And he looks like he's going to be playing that Matic role. And now Rashford tries to whip it towards Martial, but Ramsdale can collect quite easily. Bournemouth have registered 3 shots on target today. And that is that is the same numbers they've done in their last 3 games before this. Which is unbelievable, really. They've turned up today, of all days. But I guess Old Trafford can bring that out in teams. And now they're on the counter again. And it looks like Gosling towards King, back to Billing, who's looking to drive his team forward. And it's now Wilson on the right-hand side for Bournemouth. And then Billing again. But the move seems to have disappeared with United's players back. Got to be a bit more disciplined. Adam Smith, back to Wilson. It is just about keep ball at the moment for Bournemouth. Plays it into Danjuma. Greenwood pressing him all the way. Wan-Bissaka there as a reserve defender. It's now sideways to Smith, who's very central. Scored a great goal against United in 2016 in a 3-1 loss at Dean Court. Ibrahimovic, obviously, one of the scorers. Mata and Rooney there. But Bournemouth are being pushed all the way back to their defenders. And it is now Kelly to Lerma, who's actually found a good pass to Danjuma. But offside again. It's interesting that the referees are actually blowing for this quite quickly. It will now be the drinks break, and probably the players can actually breathe, because it's been an amazing half of football so far, and that is a fantastic finish. I don't understand why that was possible offside from a direct free kick, but I'm not sure what the logic is by looking for that in a free kick, but I'm not quite sure of those rules. But it's a great finish from Fernandes, who catches the keeper off guard, and he's got 2 assists and a goal today after 2 goals against Brighton, and was crucial in the build-up play for all 3 goals against Sheffield United, and of course scored the penalty against Tottenham. He has been fantastic, and this will actually be his 6th Premier League goal and 5th Premier League assist, apologies, in 10 Premier League appearances. And no wonder United look better with him. Solskjaer's giving Mason Greenwood a big pat on the head. He's deserved it. He's been playing fantastically and defending well too, and bringing the ball forward. He looks like he's going to be a star, but the sky's really the limit for him. And the fact is that he scored it. He scored the first goal with a rocket from his left. He scored his second goal with a rocket from his right. And honestly, he barely looks like he has a weak foot, really. You'd have to see whether he can just keep it going. And also, it's going to be important to see whether Fred can play as that anchor role, because obviously Matic has him beat for physicality, but Fred probably has a bit more movement. So we'll have to see if Fred can push Matic out of this team, because it would be interesting to see if oh my goodness, another poor pass from De Gea, and Wilson's through, but Fred has done really well defensively. He needs to sort that out, and now Fred can push United forward after a slip from Billing, and it's now Fernandes on the ball. And then Fred and Pogba. Fred sweeps it wide nicely to Wan-Bissaka. That's some smart play. Pogba again. I almost said Lindelof. It's Maguire. Apologies. Bailly now. Back to Pogba. Now Fred back to Bailly. Then a nice pass into Martial, who could have fed through Greenwood, but instead decided to take the ball, take the players on. It's now Fernandes to Pogba. Back to Fernandes. And now Fred and Shaw linking up nicely. We've seen so far this season. Fernandes again, looking to play deep. He's found a nice pass to Martial on the edge of the box. Is he going to try and shoot? He instead looks for Greenwood, but has the ball again. Looks to try and get past, but Billing has got the ball, but only gives it to Pogba, and Fred now plays it backwards to Bailly, who shifts it to Wan-Bissaka nicely. Good chest control. He's free on the right-hand side. Might look to put in a ball, but instead gives it to Fred. And shifts it to Maguire. Every player for United in the Bournemouth half. And it's Fred again. Fernandes back to Fred. Pogba. He'll be looking for a goal, but not too fussed whether he gets it or not, I don't think, from his mentality so far. It's a nice pass to Martial from Fred, who finds Rashford, leaves it, and Shaw now. And then it's Martial, and it's deflected by Ake, and it will be a corner. And Ake is screaming at his players to get close, but they can't seem to do so. It's a good stop from Ake, because it looked like it was going to go in the bottom corner. Ramsdale would have been unsighted, but it is going to be another corner for United. And can they get another goal? 18 minutes to go, and honestly, you can see them scoring again. You can see either team scoring again the way they're defending, but we'll have to see. It's Fernandes on the ball, whipping it in. It's a very poor corner, but it loops over and almost went in from a freak deflection from Josh King, but Ramsdale collects and hits it to King, and now Ake. Bournemouth looking to play out from the back, but Martial's pressing. Ramsdale again. Happy to hit it long. And then Bailly And Fred and Pogba now on the ball, being pushed by 4 people, but manages to get a pass out to De Gea. And now Maguire now, who looks to try and shift the ball to Shaw, and does, but Bournemouth are penning them back in at the moment. It's by United can't get out. They're going to need their midfielders to contribute a little bit more because it's just the defenders at the moment. But that's a nice pass from Maguire into Greenwood. And now he can set Shaw up. And Martial back to Shaw. He looked to try and knock it past Ake, but he's defended very well today. And now it's Wilson linking up with Smith. Fred is there to cover. And so Shaw, who's got back now. And they've pushed Smith into giving the ball away. And it will be Daniel James to come on. But the question is for who? And it will be Mason Greenwood to make way. He won't get his first ever hat-trick, but he has performed exceptionally today. And the 2 goals he scored have been crucial. But Dan James also needs a goal. Obviously, he did score against LASK, but hasn't scored in the Premier League since playing in since September, in fact. And United will have a lot more pace on the break, and this could be interesting because they have been devastating. Greenwood gives a little fist bump to all his teammates, McTominay and Williams, saying, "Why didn't you get a hat-trick?" And he looks a little bit disappointed, but overall should be proud of his performance. It's a long throw-in from Ake, and it's headed down by Billing, and De Gea smothers it with Bailly, and it will be a corner. But he probably should have come for that, De Gea. It's looked very, very odd, but Wilson's now played it short, and it's Rico, and Martial fouled Smith, but the advantage was played, and they lost it. De Gea hits it long, looking to try and find Fernandes, but it's headed out by Lerma quite well, and now Billing on the ball, looking quite sharp since he's come on, and he's played a nice pass to try and find Harry Wilson, and Smith looked to get on to his deflected effort, but it's out for a throw into United, and they could be penned back yet again, and Bournemouth are going to make another substitution, and I think that's Sam Surridge. I'm mistaken, it is in fact Stacey who's going to come on for, I believe, Adam Smith, who's been run ragged. It'll be interesting to see how that lines up, because obviously he has now got 3 centre-backs on the pitch. We'll have to see. And it will be Juan Mata on as well soon. But in the meantime, that's Stacey, who is now operating as a right back. But Martial chests it, and his control wasn't good enough, and Kelly can recover. This has been an electric half, but somehow not all for the better. It is now Kelly on the ball, who tries to get it to Rico and does. There's a through ball on to Danjuma, and Bailly's there though. His pace was crucial in that recovery, and Wan-Bissaka can get the ball now. It's now with Pogba, looking for a long pass, and he can't quite find it, but Wan-Bissaka's won it back, and now, that's loose. That's loose from Rashford, but Fred's won it back very, very well, and he can look to get Shaw on, and then James, who's gone on the left, and Rashford's on the right at the moment. And bit more bad news for United fans, as Leicester now are 2-0 up with Vardy. And now it's a ball in from Rashford, and Martial and James were reaching but couldn't get there. Martial apparently was offside, but James was not. And Martial was offside and couldn't get there because the ball was slightly overhit, but looked like a good chance. Bournemouth playing well at the moment. And now it's Rico, who's come a bit more centrally at the moment. Looked to play in Wilson, but James has read that well. And it's Fred to Pogba. Shifted it very nicely, actually. Pogba trying to thread in Martial, who is through. He's driving down on the right-hand side and he hits it straight at Kelly, and it will be another corner. Kelly did well defensively because Martial looked completely through. That was a lovely pass from Pogba. 12, well, almost 11 minutes left, and United have been devastating when they chose to be, but poor defensively, really, and it has to be said that they'll need to work on this because Aston Villa can create problems. But it will be another corner. Fernandes whips it in deeper towards Maguire. It goes in towards James, who was never really going to get there. But Fred recovers well, and that's a nice pass to Shaw, who slips. And now James can whip it in. It's a good cross. And Rashford and Martial get their feet tangled. That was a great cross from Daniel James. It was... Martial and Rashford were both there. Martial went for it, and so did Rashford, and Martial probably put him off. But it looks like Igalo and Mata are going to come on. And it probably will be for Martial and maybe Fernandes, but Martial is off after just missing that chance. It is Rashford as well, so it will be Mata playing down the right, and Martial and Igalo coming on for Martial up front. So it will be James down the left, his favoured position. Obviously, not played a lot there recently, but gets a chance today. And will be looking for a rare goal. And now he's on the ball. He's looking to drive past Stacey, but defended well. Now Shaw to Fernandes, who is looks like he is going to play the full game because obviously United have made 5 changes now. Pogba now to Fernandes, flicks it. James could be through. He's got the pace to get through, but it's defended well by Kelly, who's got a bit of pace himself. And that looked like James was going to score, but or at least be through on goal. But Billings just missed the header now, and it looks like Fred was going to get the ball, and he has. That's very nicely done. Aggressive play from Fred, who's driving through, and he could be through on goal. He looks like he could shoot, but he's left it for Fernandes, who clips it in, and Ramsdale catches. Mata probably wasn't who he was looking for. Igalo just didn't quite see the pass towards him, but that was very close because Dan James could have scored. Fred opted against it, even though he was on his stronger foot. But this is going to be interesting now. The last 9 minutes of the game. It's Billing now, who has looked strong but and quick to get the ball, but has also given it away a few times. Ake's lumped it forward towards King, but Maguire's defended well and De Gea can catch. It's now with Fred, who you have to say looks very sharp so far. It's now Fernandes and Mata and Wan-Bissaka now. Bournemouth defensively compact again, but Fred's almost playing like a centre-back. Oh, now that's loose from Maguire, but Pogba's done well to deflect it onto Gosling, and Fred has the ball and he can lump it forward towards, I think, Wan-Bissaka. Mata's come very central, but Fernandes has it now. Back to Wan-Bissaka and Pogba. Fernandes. Mata. Passes are getting a little bit sloppy. They need to be a bit crisper now. And Pogba puts in a long pass towards Shaw, and he's chested it down, and Ramsdale saves. Didn't really back Shaw to score from there. It was a very narrow angle, but yet it has already... A goal has been scored from a similar position today. Billing now on the ball, being pressed by Igalo. James also there, and Shaw. Bournemouth trying to play out, and it could cause a problem, and Billings just kicks it straight out for a throw-in. But it's a good response to going down early in both halves. I mean, United they scored 3 in the first half unanswered, and then after another goal, they scored another goal conceded, which was controversial, you have to say. United then scored 2 more brilliant goals from Greenwood and Fernandes, and they've been, I wouldn't say in control, but they've been far more composed. And now it's Pogba to Mata on the right-hand side, who's looking to dribble past couple players now. Fernandez back to Mata, back to Fernandez. That is a lovely play. Then Mata again, but he's wide, and Igalo was through, but the pass wasn't good enough. Mata did a instinctive pass, but it was blocked off well. Pogba with good strength, and it will be a throw into United. But United finishing strong. There's 6.5 minutes left. We'll be looking for another goal. And it's now Fred on the ball to Bailly. Pogba. Then Fernandez, who's looking to feed Igalo in, who's got good strength, and he's through! And he's missed! Oh, that was a really good chance. He'd done so well to get to the ball, and he took a good touch. I don't know what's happened there. He's onside, great strength, and he just tries to dink it over Ramsdale, and it goes wide. It was a bit closer than I thought it was. I thought it was very far wide, but it seems to have just missed the post. But it's now Josh King, who was, I think, offside. And United have a free kick just inside their own half. Maguire now to Shaw, who's being pushed all the way by Harry Wilson and fouled. United will look for another goal. I don't think they have actually scored since bringing on the changes post-lockdown. In fact, I think they've wrapped up the game and then put the changes in the Premier League at least. Of course, in the FA Cup that was not the case as Maguire scored the winner. But the players coming on will be looking for a goal, and now it's Pogba who will also be looking for one. Fernandez sharp into Shaw, who's come very central for some reason. Now Dan James in the wide area, looking to drive into the box, puts in a cross, but it's deflected by Stacey out for a corner. You have to say, Bournemouth have been run ragged at the back, maybe not so in attack, but you have to say Dan James coming on, Igalo's strength and ability to read the game, it can cause problems. Mata is obviously a quality player on his day. We'll have to see how this goes, but it is going to be Fernandez with another ball in. It's towards Bailly, but headed away again, and Shaw with a pass. He's got a couple men behind him, but Wan-Bissaka has it now, and Fred can get to it. It almost goes off. Maguire to Fred, and United can reform their structure. But Pogba now plays it to Wan-Bissaka, who finds Fernandez. He's gone very central, clips it in, looking for James, but the pass wasn't the best on his left foot. But now it's a long pass in, and Billing is down the United left. He's found Stacey, but Fernandez has challenged well, and it will be a throw-in to United. My man of the match call will be done on the 90th minute, about 3.5 minutes time, but I think we all know who it's going to be. It's now Fred, who shifts it nicely to Igalo. There is space ahead of him, but there are players going either side, and it's now Wan-Bissaka in, puts in a ball, but there's no one there, and Ake clears, and it's out for another throw. He says that he should have got an ear from Ramsdale to tell him that there was no one there. But we'll have to see. It's now Pogba to Fred, who have both actually done very well since Fred's come on. It's now Pogba. Is he going to look for the long pass? Can't find one. It's now back to Fred. United slowing things down in this late stage of the game. But there could be a few extra minutes of added time for all the VAR calls, so we'll have to see how that goes. But Maguire to James, and James again. Pogba. Oh, couldn't find James, and Billing has the ball. Bournemouth win it. Lerma's there. It's a 3-on-3, but Danjuma is now marked by Wan-Bissaka and might not be able to get through, and can't do so. But Wan-Bissaka concedes the throw. Again, if you have any questions or anything you'd like me to discuss at the end of the game, please comment below and I'll try to get them to them before the stream ends. But in the meantime, Pogba's just fouled Dan Gosling, and it could be a dangerous position for Bournemouth, something they haven't actually been able to do so far with set pieces, but we'll have to see. There is some more height for Bournemouth, but we'll have to see. I think it will be Harry Wilson to take it, but it's caught by De Gea very easily. It's a very poor set piece. 398 Manchester United appearances for David De Gea. Won't be a clean sheet today, as I said, he has already got 10 this season in the Premier League at least. But he has equalled the number of caps Peter Schmeichel has for Manchester United, and he's got 308 in the Premier League with 110 clean sheets, which is fantastic. But now it's Mata who looked to get past Lerma, but Lerma did well. It's deflected, and Igalo's in, potentially, but defended well again by Kelly. A few dodgy little rebounds, but United now still have the ball with Maguire to De Gea, but the attack seems to have fizzled out. But Fred now has it again, and United can recycle. Bournemouth look completely broken and knackered. It's now Shaw, who's done very well all game. Pogba now back to Fred. Now James central, looking to add a bit more quality in attack. It's now James again after a run from one side to the other. It's 5 added minutes, but it is the 90th minute, and you have to say the 2 goals that Mason Greenwood scored today were crucial, and he's going to be my man of the match. And now Mike Dean's given another free kick. It's a little bit further out this time, but it's a foul on Dan James by Dan Gosling. Great touch from James, shifts it back to Pogba, and he's just shoved over very blatantly. But it will be a question who's going to be. There's Mata, Pogba and Fernandes over the ball. You would back Fernandes to score, but Pogba might fancy it, getting a goal. Mata, of course, hasn't scored in the Premier League this season. He has scored in the Europa League against AZ Alkmaar at Old Trafford, but we'll have... No, it's not Paul Pogba. It looks like Fernandes, who's setting up the ball. He will back himself after a fantastic effort earlier this game. Looks like it's going to be Pogba. It's beautiful, and it's Ramsdale with a fantastic save. Let's have a look at that. It's a lovely hit. It curves a bit too centrally to go in, and Ramsdale does do well. But it is a short corner now, and Fred's got it now on the ball. Shifts it to Bruno Fernandes on the left-hand side. Looks for James, but could go for a curler, and it's saved well by Ramsdale again. Where would he be? Where would Bournemouth be without him? And Matters offside from the rebound. But it's a lovely dummy. It looks like he's going to cross it, but he puts in a great shot, about 30 yards out. The Pogba one is fairly comfortable in the end, but may have overreacted at the start. But yeah, it was close, but not quite. 3 more minutes to play, and United would seem happy with this result, but they'll definitely want more, and they're players that need to score and want to score, and that are hungry for first team appearances. It's now Shaw to James, to Mata, and Fred. Maguire back to Fred. Shifts it nicely, looking to find Mata, but Ake's done well again. He's been a rock for Bournemouth. Bournemouth have actually done some good defending with the centre-backs, but the full-backs have been so weak defensively that United have just been able to rip through them. It's Lerma looking to get Josh King on, but Pogba has the ball now and happy to knock it back to Maguire, and now Shaw, who's almost like a central midfielder at this point in the game. It's now Bailly and Fred. It's going to be interesting to see what United are going to do. It's going to be interesting to see what they'll say about Greenwood's form, because obviously he has got 15 goals this season as a right mid, but now that's Pogba with a long ball up to Igalo, and it's caught by Ramsdale. But because Greenwood's got that many goals, it might mean that Ed Woodward might say we don't need Jadon Sancho, which obviously would be a massive mistake because we need to add depth. If we have quality and depth, we can challenge for a title, because when those players get injured, you can't have poor quality coming in because they won't do as good a job. So we'll have to see how that works out. But that's a long pass from Fred, looking to find Daniel James or Bruno Fernandes, but only finds Kelly. But Fred has it again after a bit of a scrap. But Fernandes on the ball down the right-hand side. Dummies. Looks to tee up Fred, but he slips. He still has it. Takes the shot, and it's saved again by Ramsdale. He has been peppered all game. 5 saves for Ramsdale, and he's done well with every single one of them. Fred sort of slips, dummies, and it's a bit central, but Ramsdale deals with that acrobatically. It's going to be another set piece. Looks like it's Fred taking it. It's whipped in. It's headed out by Billing quite easily. And now can Bournemouth counter? No. It's Wan-Bissaka who's done well. James has nodded it on. It's now whipped in towards Pogba. And he was offside, but misses anyway. That could be it. Just offside, Paul Pogba. But the header wasn't good enough anyway. It looks like this will be it with 95 minutes played. And it's hit long, straight to Josh King, who's chested it down very well. But that is the end. And United may have scored 5 goals. May have conceded 2. Almost freak goals, poor defending for the first one and goalkeeping 2. And a freak goal at the beginning of the second half as well. A controversial decision from the referees. And gave a penalty, and Josh King did score. But United's outscored their opponents. A brace from Mason Greenwood, goals from Martial, Rashford and Fernandes too, have seen United overcome Bournemouth in what can only be described as a Premier League classic. United will probably be worried with the defensive issues they've had in this game. They'll feel themselves a little bit aggrieved, actually, because not only did Jefferson Lerman not get sent off for what I can only describe as a really, really dangerous challenge, but that penalty was never a penalty, but it wasn't clear and obvious, so I guess the rules have to say they can't not give that as a penalty, which I find honestly ridiculous, but I guess on the other way round, you'd probably argue that way. But nonetheless, United get a crucial 3 points with Leicester winning at the same time. They won 2-0 with Vardy and Iheanacho scoring. Vardy scoring his 100th Premier League goal. And now Chelsea have to host Watford and know that anything other than a win will see them in 5th place for the first time in what seems like ages. But Manchester United have won 3 games in a row in the Premier League for the first time in 18 months. Since Solskjaer's last, or since Jose Mourinho, I believe. And it is going to be crucial that they keep this form up and keep scoring. And you have to say, with the players they have fit and available, you see them never faulting in scoring a load of goals. That is all we have time for today. We will be back next week with the away game against Aston Villa, where United will be looking to cause more problems down the bottom of the table. Until that time, there are always our articles available on Twitter and Facebook, and obviously on our website. And there are YouTube videos going out every week, including our weekly podcast. And if you have any other questions or topics you would like for us to discuss, then please comment below and we'll try and look at those for next time. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe.